Hello, hello. Welcome back to another special edition of the God Gamer podcast with my special co-host, Bradley Lamb.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello. How you feeling? How you doing?
Feeling good. Um, we got Thursday night football on. The weekend's almost here.
Yes, sir.
Exciting stuff this week.
Yes, sir. And it's happy Halloween. Today is Halloween. It's a spooky episode. Haven't figured out how to do editing yet, so I'm not gonna do any edits. So you're just gonna hear us and see us. But happy Halloween. Hope you all are enjoying it. But to start off with spookiness, we are 9 weeks in, halfway through the season. It's coming up, and playoffs are in week 15, so that's in about 7 weeks from now is going to be playoffs, and we got quite a few injuries already, and potentially some more injuries on top of that. Brad, you want to go through the injuries?
Yeah, some pretty rough injuries for this week. A lot of season enders, which sucks. Stephon Diggs out with an ACL injury. Um, Christian Kirk fractured his collarbone, which apparently is a season ender. Um, I figured coming back from a fracture wouldn't be too bad, but I guess the season's already half over, so he's out. And then some more minor stuff. Jordan Love with a groin injury, but he's trending really well, so we'll see if he plays this week.
Yeah, limited and return to practice.
Exactly. Then we got Patrick Mahomes, is one to keep an eye on. I didn't hear much about it during the weekend, but apparently he rolled his ankle on a play. Andy Reid said he was okay, but I think that's something to keep an eye on. Those ankle injuries can be really pesky.
Yeah, I'm not
Drake
seeing
May.
anything in the news, but yeah, gotta keep an eye on that.
Yeah, not very highly reported, but again, could be something that comes back, keeps coming up throughout the season. And then two concussions, Drake May and Tyrone Tracy. Both got concussions this past week, but Tracy's actually also trending well, so we'll see if he plays. He was looking electric last week for the
Holy, he
Giants.
got 23 points last week.
Yeah, it's looking like he's stealing that starting spot from Singleton, which
Yeah,
I was never a huge believer in Singletary.
Xander has him.
Yes, he does. So that could be a big boost for Xander's team.
Huge.
He's looking like a real stud this year.
But unfortunately, he also lost Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, can't have it
Unfortunate.
all.
Yeah, and yeah. So it looks like Tyrone Tracy though and Jordan Love will be able to recover from Tracy's concussion and Jordan Love's groin injury, his dick. Just needed to get it massaged. Reached out to Deshaun about what to do.
Nope. He was just going too hard. Needed to dial it back a bit.
So let's just do a little summary of week 8. Starting with Brad, your matchup with Kieran.
Yep. It was surprisingly a strong game from my team.
Yeah.
My running backs actually showed up big time.
Ramondre
Ramondre Stevenson
Stevenson.
and McLaughlin both played well. Zay Flowers had almost 20 points.
Uh-huh.
Just solid performances all around. Nothing too crazy, but enough to beat
You know,
Kieran's team.
it's crazy that on tight end day, Pat Frymuth, or at least tight end week, it's like he got 3.9 points. That's a little unfortunate.
Yeah, not great for him. But
But yeah,
everyone around him popped off, so that was good for
Daniel
my
Jones
team.
is we'll skip him.
He's ramping up. He's ramping
Yeah.
up.
And on
He's a
Kieran's
second half of the season kind of guy.
second half of guided this. What is the second half? I mean, he plays against Carolina in 2 weeks before the bye. Tampa, you can score against. Dallas, you can score against. New Orleans, they got a good D. Baltimore got good D. Atlanta, you can score against. Indianapolis, you can
Hmm.
score against. Philly, you can score against. Yeah, he's got a good second half. Now, Kieran's side. Um, what the fuck? So we're playing T. Higgins, the weakest hamstring. We know that he has the weakest hamstring, and we're playing him, giving Brad
Yeah,
an easy win there.
that was a bold move from Kieran.
I mean, it.
It was announced kind of late, but he had been trending downward all week.
Yeah. But I
So
mean, who
not
do
a
you replace
great
him with? Like Van Jefferson or I guess Demarcus Robinson, who gets 17
Demarcus
and a half
Robinson,
points.
obviously.
That's crazy.
Which, I mean, even with him starting, he wouldn't have won. Just kind of an off week for Kieran's team. The
Yeah.
Jordan Mason really killed him. He's not looking that great. I think he might have gotten hurt that game. And then the
Yeah.
receivers didn't really hit their ceiling at all. Some pretty
Yeah.
low floors on his wide
And
receivers
it's
all
it's
around.
it's 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 rough for him, especially this week, because it's like you know Christian McCaffrey is going to be coming up in November. Like that's what all signs are pointing that Christian McCaffrey is coming back in November, sometime in November, right? And you really need him to do well. And then you have Caleb Williams and yeah, Jamison Williams, he popped off. But you don't really have any. I mean, Justin Fields is now not the starter. So it's like you got some questionable positions in your lineup right now. You are wide receiver university. You got great, wide receivers, but he's just been hit with the plague of injuries, hasn't he? He lost DK Metcalf that week. Um, Mike Evans, he's lost. Nico Collins, he lost. I mean, Nico should be back on the track of recovery as of 8 days ago. But it's
We'll
just
see.
unfortunate that like this is what I talked to Kieran about, early in the year when we were trying to figure out like dynasty picks and whatnot. I wonder if I can get the draft results. I love this. This is a podcast, so we're gonna just like do a little chatting. But like I was talking to Kieran about how it's really important to round out your team with solid running backs or at least one really good running back, so then you have that position locked down. And I mean, he made a trade, which we'll talk about in a minute. But basically, at this time, you have Najee Harris and you have Jordan Mason who aren't doing. They're not fantastic. And then you're hit with the plague of wide receivers injuries, and you had Bijan Robinson, and I think if you kept him, your outlook might have been better. I mean, obviously you wouldn't have Nico Collins who was injured, but like hopefully Nico Collins comes back and gets back to what he was doing in production, because wasn't he like the like third overall or like second overall wide receiver right before he got injured?
Yeah, I think he was the number 2. He was having a great season, so
Yeah.
you'd expect big numbers from him coming back, and he should be back soon.
Yeah, and it's tough because Kieran also traded away his picks this year. So if his team starts to slide due to injuries, due to not having depth in the running back or QB position, I mean, this year is supposed to be a good year for running backs, but in the third round, what I don't know what you're gonna find.
Yeah, I mean that kind of leads us to the trade that me and Kieran made. Ramondre Stevenson, who was the difference maker in this game,
Mm-hmm.
won me the game.
Yeah,
Um, I ended up trading him to Kieran as well as a 2027 second round for 2 younger, developing, hopefully wide receivers in
yeah,
Rashad Bateman and Jalen Polk, as well as Kieran's 2025 second. So swap in seconds. I get
I like
his this year.
that.
He gets mine 2 years. Um, and yeah, just some more developing receivers for my team, adding some depth. Um,
That's a pretty fair trade to for all things considered. I mean, Kieran definitely gets a much needed boost in his running back room, and
mhm.
now when he slots in Ramondre Stevenson, and yeah, he has Najee, who I'm not like super excited about, but like for an RB2, he's good. Um, he's getting better with his running back room, and if Ramondre can keep up to what he was kind of projected to do earlier this year and what he has done in a few weeks, like that can definitely be that A tier running back that he needs. But unfortunate loss to Kieran. Great win by you, Brad. Hey, you said you're kind of playing for the draft with the way that you've made your trades and the way how young your team looks like, but you're 3-5. You can make it. It. I think we have 8 teams that can make playoffs. Only 4 teams can miss playoffs. And then the top 2 teams, I believe, get a bye week. So it's really 6 people, 6 teams that play in the playoffs, at least in the winning bracket. But you're not out of it. You can kind of get there. You got some pieces on your team.
Yeah, somehow I'm 3-5. I was looking at the standings earlier, and I actually have the second lowest points scored this season. So pretty miraculous that I'm 3-5 right now.
You are tied for Trevor. How does that make you feel?
I mean, honestly, not thrilled because I'm trying to get a high draft pick, but you know, I can't complain with having 3 wins on the season right now.
Yeah, yeah. All right, on to the next one. Which one are we gonna? Which one's next?
Seth versus Sushant gives me a Chubb
There we go.
versus Team Skalambi, who still has not changed his team name.
Sushant, please, for the love of God, if you are
Tisk
listening to
tisk.
this, please just change it, make it creative, do something, be like King Henry or some shit. I don't know. Do something. Be creative. But what a game. Like, look at Seth. Like, he is just dominating week in and week out. And, you know, like, you know, I obviously have an ego in fantasy football as with everyone else, and you draft and you're like, man, I'm gonna make the best team. I love my team. I love these trades that I'm doing, and then I just look at Seth, who literally traded away players, and is putting up 200 a week. Isn't this like the second time he's done this?
Don't know if he's broke 100 before this, but yeah, just a monster performance from Seth. I think the biggest standout on his team is, I mean, he's got 2 insanely good running backs. And it looked like his quarterback flex was going to be.
Week 5, he got 198 points. So yeah, not over 200, but yeah. Yeah, having Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson is just absolutely insane. Lamar Jackson, absolutely insane. Like, those are, I mean, those players get a lot of on the ground rushing yards, which just you get a lot of points for, and it's his wide receiver room. It looks bleak, but like it pops off. And Kyle Pitts is finally coming to himself, and Bo Nix is looking like the steal of the draft. You could have had a Bo Nix. Did you consider Bo Nix yourself? Brad? Hello? Oh, Bradley. Are you here? Oh, looks like we might have lost Bradley. That's crazy. No wonder he's not talking. Okay. Well, I'll carry it on my own for now. Hopefully Bradley gets back. But Seth and Sushant, let me just roll it back. I did, took a hit of the Benjamin, so bear with me a little bit. I'm a little rambly right now. But Seth versus Sushant, I mean, Seth, you're just dominating every single week. What can I say? If Nick Chubb comes to full health, and you're able to slot him in, I mean, you just got some of the greatest running backs and running QB in the league right now. Sushant, it's just kind of unfortunate. You got some good names on your team. I mean, you even got Amari Cooper, but you just unfortunately played against Seth this week. I think you would have beat a few other teams if you just played some other teams. But speaking about other teams, we got Reese and Ryan. Reese and Ryan, close game. I thought Ryan was gonna win this game. Jalen Hurts put up a huge performance, but unfortunately just could not do it. What happened here? Troy Franklin only getting you 1.9 points sucks. Jordan Addison getting 4.2. That's rough. Richardson kind of quitting out basically like halfway through the game because he was tired. Brad?
We back. My computer killed itself. I don't know what happened. We are back.
Welcome back. We just finished talking about Seth and Sushant, and we're going on to Reese and Ryan, which Reese beat Ryan 130.2 to 122.14.
Yeah, I heard you mentioning Anthony Richardson. I mean, that's not at all what you want to see. You've got a guy who you drafted because he's a freak athlete, and
Yeah.
pulling himself out of the game it's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, very embarrassing. you had a really good shot on making this the first win this week, or first win this year for you this week. Um, but unfortunately, just could not pull it together. But I don't know. Maybe this is what you're trying to do. This is maybe you put some blessings into God, so then you can kind of tank a little bit to get that first overall pick. But hey, better learn which kind of beer tastes the best while running, because we got that beer mile for the last place loser still. Um,
It's true. It's a blessing and a curse to get that
it
number one
is.
overall pick.
It's a blessing and a curse. And next, we got Trevor versus Adam. Trevor with 130 points and Adam 188. Damn, Adam he told us I have the best team in the league, and Trevor, unfortunately, just Jordan Love not doing it, Brees Hall not doing it, Chuba Hubbard not doing it, Drake London needs touchdowns or he's irrelevant. Um, Pickens had 2 touchdowns but were called back due to flags. And then you have Montgomery and Jacobs who really tried to push your team over the top, but then Geno Smith just, shot the bed as well. It's tough. It's tough. And I mean, you're playing against Adam too, who has a really strong team. But when you have 4 quarterbacks that you can play, in Dak Prescott, uh, Russell Wilson, Geno Smith, and Jordan Love, it's really tough to figure out which QB you're gonna put in.
Yeah, and I mean the QBs and running backs are really the difference makers in this game. On one side, you have Adam, who's got basically at least 20 points from his starting quarterback
Hmm.
and running backs, and on the other side, Trevor's aren't even breaking 10. So just a really rough, low-scoring week
Hmm.
for Trevor. On top of Jordan Love getting hurt in the middle of the game, which sucks.
Yeah.
But you'd hope with the kind of stars that he's got on this team that they'll bounce back.
Yeah. I texted Trevor. I was like, you should definitely like pick up Malik Willis when he was on waivers, in case Jordan Love gets injured. And he didn't pick him. Obviously, no one picked him, and I got him. But I mean, this is the second time that he's gotten injured in a game, and he just signed a massive contract with Green Bay. It's like, is it just unlucky, or is he kind of just like not faking his injury, but like, you know, over exaggerating it?
Talking about Jordan Love?
Yeah,
That's a hot take. I mean,
it
we'll
could be,
see.
but he did just sign a massive contract. Brandon Ayuk signed a massive. Okay, I know Brandon Ayuk did not fake tearing his ACL, but it's like after you sign a massive contract, you get injured. It's like Brandon Ayuk injured or contract and then out for the year, and Jordan Love just signs a contract and he's missing multiple games. And I feel like we can make some other comparison to some other players who sign contracts. I just can't think of any right now.
Yeah, we need some data on this.
Yeah.
We need to get an analyst in here to provide us with some hard stats that
Mhm.
we can pick through.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see for redraft leagues. If someone just signs a contract, it's like there is a 60% likelihood that they're gonna miss games because of just, I don't know, bullshit just coming out of my mouth right now. But what a week! I mean, Adam really needed that to give himself
Hmm.
confidence, and Trevor really needed that to give himself confidence that his team can really do it. But I don't think Trevor is low in confidence at all, and I think he's really confident with his team, and I think he should. It's a good team.
Yeah. All
Um,
you have to do is make it to playoffs,
all you gotta do.
and then anyone can win.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. We're currently 19 minutes in this, and we got 2 more matches, and then we'll be talking about this week's matchups. So this week, what was it? Jackie and me. Oh yeah, dude.
This was an interesting one. It was the
Dude,
bowl game.
at one time I had a 1% chance to win. This was my week to lose. I had a 1% chance to win, and I was talking to Jackie over Snapchat, and she was so happy. She was rubbing it in my face, and I was like, "The game's not over." And then what happens? My baby boy, Jaden Daniels, just
Do
fucking
not
Hail
call him
Mary.
that. It was a miraculous play. I mean, both of you guys put up a lot of points. Pretty high scoring game overall.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of duds on either side. I will say
Yeah. I
Jackie
texted.
played ETN.
I texted her.
If she played Zeke, she wins that game.
She does. She does. And I texted her, but unfortunately, this should be a lesson for everyone. Gotta make sure that if you party on a Saturday night, that you have the capability to wake up before games start, so then you can flex out your team and then maybe immediately go back to sleep. I know she was out until 4:30 a.m. on Saturday, so she was not waking up in time for this. So it's a bit rough. And I don't know, should I be using my commissioner power for good? And if I spot this, should I do anything, Bradley?
Nope. I mean, it's up to the managers. You have to set your lineups and be on top of things. It happens to the best of us, and it sucks when it happens, but you just gotta do your best to kind of plan ahead and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So just a rough week, but still, Jackie's got a great team overall. Again, 50 points from her quarterbacks. The team's looking insane.
Yeah.
Still really like both
And a
of you
down
guys'
week
teams moving
from
forward.
DJ Moore and Amon Ra.
Exactly, that's the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Is there's a good amount of low-scoring receivers on this team and still puts up damn near 150.
Yeah. I mean, shit. I had Devonte Adams on this team and Tyreeko, and they did not meet their projection.
No, they did not. The Boomers are letting you down this year.
They are, but that's why we made our trades, and now we have literally no draft picks.
There you go.
On to the next game, Jake versus Xander. What a fucking game! Like, what a matchup! Are you kidding? 207 points.
Very unexpected.
Unexpected.
Almost.
147 to 131 projected.
Yeah, almost 400 points scored in this matchup alone. I mean, we talked about how the Miami Arizona game was going to be really big for Xander, and I mean, good God. Kyler Murray went off, James Conner went off, Trey McBride was feasting on tight end day. Tua didn't put up a ton of points, but 16 is still very serviceable. You hate to see Xander lose in a week where he puts up 190, but
That's
Jake's team
rough.
just went
He went
crazy.
nuclear.
Yeah.
And he had Diop, who didn't meet expectations, and Waddle, who missed a few catches with his brick hands.
Well, he's on your team now, so.
He's on my
Can't say
team
that.
now. I got brick hands on my team. But yeah, this is, you just gotta chalk it up to unfortunately being matched up this way. You would have beat anyone else in this league, and unfortunately, well, I guess not Seth, but hey, it just goes to show you got some shooters on your squad. Unfortunately, you lose Diggs and you don't get a win this week, but your team has proven that it can fucking go off.
The ceiling is high for Xander's team.
You have a high ceiling
The floor
now.
is the concern.
Yep, exactly. All right, well, week 9. Let's get right into it. This week, Bradley, you versus Ryan, or like you like to call it, the battle for Ginty.
Yep. So I mean, I don't think it's a surprise to anyone that Ginty is. If you've been following college football, he is the best prospect we're seeing right now, projected to be the #1 pick in a lot of these rookie drafts for 2025. So whoever gets that first overall pick, it's kind of a lottery for whoever's getting Ginty. And right now, it is neck and neck between me and Ryan, and it's pretty sweet that we're playing each other this week. So far, he's projected to beat me by 12 points. So looking like I might edge him out on that battle for Ginty, at least this week.
Oh yeah, and I got a video on screen right now with Ginty scoring a touchdown.
He's a freak.
So, who knows? This matchup can be very crucial in the battle of Ashton Ginty, or like some people like to call it, the battle for who gets to do a beer mile.
A beer mile for Ginty, I'd take it. I'd do it, honestly.
That's funny. Yeah, well, I mean, it looks like you're it looks like you may get Ginty right now because CJ Stroud is not looking good.
Yeah, it's tough when all of his receivers are out and he's playing against the Jets D. Just a terrible matchup for him this week, which is great for my prospects and getting Gene T. But yeah, not a high ceiling for my team this week, so we'll see what happens.
No, and for Ryan, I mean, you got Tank Dells, so this is his time to shine. You may be able to start winning some games with Nico Collins out and Diggs out. You know, Nico should be coming back next week, but who knows? So this is you got a little bit of a window here to go off, and if I have to, you know, throw my hat in for which team is going to win this week, I think Ryan's going to edge you out. I think Ryan's going to get his first win this year, and it's going to be against Stroud 9.
Yeah, I think Ryan's gonna edge me real good this week.
The young QB daycare will beat you. All right. The next matchup we got on the lineup is Sushant versus Jackie. What's your thoughts on this?
It's an exciting match. It's both of these teams are projected to score pretty similar points this week.
Very even.
The big concern for Sushant though is Pat Mahomes. He's been looking kind of ass all year.
He plays on a
The
Monday.
the Chiefs keep winning games, but yeah, that's gonna be the big one. You've got Mahomes versus Baker.
Oh wait, I
So
didn't
both
realize.
Sushant and Jackie's quarterbacks are playing each other, so that could be a
That's
shootout.
funny. That's
Um,
that's cool. I like that.
yeah, and then on top of that, Sushant's also got Kate Otten, so that'll be an exciting game. It's got a lot of implications for this
But
matchup.
but you know who Jackie gets this week? TJ Horace Hawkinson. He finally
Oh
is
shit.
coming back and he's going to be a full go on Sunday.
Boris Hawkinson, he is a beast. I had him last year in redraft, and man, he was amazing for my team. I think he was tight end one for most of the season. He's just a phenomenal player. Fits really well into the Vikings passing scheme, so he should be putting up big numbers.
Yeah, very excited to see him start playing. Feel like it really rounds out Jackie's team. The big question mark is, you know, is it going to be Tank Bigsby playing this week or is it going to be Travis Etienne? And even if Travis Etienne plays this week, will it still be Travis Etienne or will it be Tank Bigsby? Because Tank has been doing really good as the lead running back, but that backfield's a little questionable, and I feel like the indecision that you can get behind who you put in there can really lead to a loss here.
For sure.
All right. Next week we got Reese versus Seth. This is I mean on paper it's somewhat of a close matchup, 141 to 134, 55% Seth, 45% Reese, but you know, I just feel like oh wait. Who do you think is gonna win? Sushana or Jackie?
And this one, I mean, I've got to take Jackie. I feel like, you know, between Baker and Pat, I have to take Baker.
Mm-hmm.
And with Horace Hawkinson coming back, he's going to be hungry, especially after missing National Tight End Day last week.
Hungry.
I think he's in for a big game.
Yeah, he's in for a big game. I think Jackie's gonna win. Okay, so we got Seth and Reese. I mean, without really diving too deep into it, I just think Seth's gonna win. He is just that guy. He's 7-1. He's projected to beat Reese, and he's coming off a 200-point week. No real injuries on his starters. You know, Lamar Jackson is a bit questionable, missing a second straight practice. But you know, I feel like that's just they want to rest up Lamar Jackson because a lot of his production also comes out of his running. On Reese's side, though, Brian Thomas, he was limited at practice, so we'll see if he plays this week. If he doesn't play, then this is gonna hurt a lot for Reese.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams have pretty solid running backs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if, like you said, Reese loses Brian Thomas, it's going to be a pretty big blow to his team. He doesn't have a ton of depth at receiver. I will say Pittman coming back with
I was just looking at that.
Joe Flacco playing is going to be a huge boost for Pittman's production. But
hmm
other than that, there's some concerns in the wide receiver room for
Week
sure.
4, 5, and 6 is when Joe Flacco was gaming. Joe Flacco had 19 points, 32 points, 18 points. Pittman got 17, 14, and 12. So
Yeah,
the
double
only
digits in
time
all of them.
the only time Michael Pittman got more than 10 points was with Joe Flacco. So this could be the bounce back week that Reese needs, and he may be able to sneak in an upset over Seth, but who knows? It's fantasy.
It is fantasy. I think I still give it the edge to Seth.
Yeah.
He's got 3 Falcons players, and I think that I
Wait,
really can't see the
wait.
Dallas
Reese
D stopping them at
Reese
all.
needs to Reese needs to start Puka Nakua, and he needs to.
No, Puka might be hurt.
I heard that, but I feel like you still need to make sure that you try and fucking start him if he plays. And also, Joe
Yeah.
Flacco or Bryce Young? I feel like you start Joe Flacco over Bryce Young.
Yeah, definitely some decisions to made. Got to keep an eye on some of
Yeah.
these, the health of some of these players, but
If come Sunday Reese is able to make some moves like get Puka in there and get Flacco in there and they play, then I think Reese can edge out a win if also Brian Thomas Jr. Is healthy. It comes down to the health of his receivers. But yeah, I think Seth's gonna win, and you think Seth's gonna win too?
yeah, I think he's got a really good shot. My one concern is with Bo Nix going against the Baltimore D. I think that could really hurt his production. He's looked great all season so far,
Yeah,
but I think that could be a tough matchup
he
for him.
did get 8 points versus the New York Jets
Yep.
defense. So yeah, he plays bad against good defense.
Yeah, so we'll see how that matchup goes, but overall, I think I still give the edge to Seth.
Yeah. All right, Adam and Kieran, the podcast hosts on the Schmeat Nation, who inspired us into making this podcast here. They are playing against each other in Dynasty, and right now it's not looking good for Adam. Aaron Rodgers with half a point.
Yeah, I think what is his other quarterbacks? Brock Purdy's on bye. You really don't want to be starting Aaron Rodgers, I feel like. But what can you do?
Yeah, I mean, the tough thing is that yeah, Adam picked Justin Jefferson, Marvin Harrison, and then Brock Purdy, but then didn't get a QB until round 10 and 11, and he just missed with those QBs a little
Yeah.
bit.
So I feel like Adam's team overall looks great. He just is really lacking in the quarterback position, which
hmm
is going to severely limit your upside in a superflex league. But I mean, if Aaron Rodgers can start to, learn how to throw the ball to an open receiver, I think that's going to help him a lot.
Yeah,
As well, Purdy coming back from the bye. So
it's tough.
yeah, tough on Adam's side. And then Caleb Williams has been really hot and cold this season.
hmm
He'll have weeks where he puts up 30, 40 points, and then weeks where he puts up less than 10. So
Yeah,
the quarterbacks are going to be a big role in this matchup.
yeah. He's playing against Arizona. I feel like Arizona has been pretty um, easy to score against. At least like their games have been a bit high scoring, but I feel like they do have a solid defense. I wouldn't be surprised if Caleb has a bad game versus Arizona, but then comes back and plays well versus New England, but then performs bad in Green Bay. A little
Yeah,
hot and
we'll
cold
see how
there.
that goes. And
But
this is Kieran's first game with Ramondre, so that's going to help his running back
yeah,
situation. He's got DK coming back,
he's also
so
starting
and T.
Tyler
Higgins.
Algier because
Yeah,
Najee
which
is on
isn't
bye.
which isn't ideal, and I think that's another big reason why he went out and traded for Ramondre, because if your RB1 is Tyler Algier, you're really lacking.
Yeah. You're really lacking, just like Bradley's computer, who just blew up on him again. But yeah, as Brad was alluding to, DK Metcalf should be back. He's still not practicing. Um, he was a non-participant at practice, so we'll see if he plays or not. It's very up in the air. If he does play, he will have a solid chance against Adam, and if he doesn't play, he probably will lose this week. Having Jameson Winston is a nice surprise, doing 29 points versus Baltimore. So if he could do that versus Baltimore, he could probably put up some numbers versus the Chargers. But just overall, you're dealing with a lot of injuries, and you have QBs on out or on bye. You don't really got a lot of room in running back, and your wide receivers are injured, so it's tough. It's tough. You got some unfortunate luck against you, but I think you can pull it out. I think you will win this week if Aaron Rodgers continues to suck today. I think you can pull it out of the bag. Next we got is Trevor and Xander. So right now, with Breece Hall in, Breece Hall has 4.6 points. Xander's just coming off of doing 190 points, and Trevor projected 144. Xander, you're projected 126. So if you can, replicate any of that from last week, any of that high upside, then this week is gonna be a close match. If Tyrone Tracy plays against Washington, he can have a field day versus them. Looking at Trevor's team, it's contingent on Jordan Love playing, but at least where are they? You got some QBs on the bench here. Yeah, there they are. Dak Prescott is the only one that you could start, so that's nice. But what time?
Dak's got a great matchup too against Atlanta. I think that could be a shootout.
Yeah, he plays at 10 a.m. So Jordan Love is gonna have to. He's gonna have to really figure it out with Jordan Love on Sunday, because Jordan Love starts after Dak. But yeah, I think Trevor will win this, but I'm a little like warily confident in Xander's ability to pop off.
I mean, we've seen it before, and he's got Cooper Kupp,
Yeah.
who has just an enormous ceiling. I think there's a lot of pop-off potential on Xander, and you never want to be on the receiving side of that. So, I mean, we'll see.
We'll see.
I think this one could go either way.
It all comes down to that Arizona game. If Arizona does well and it's a high-scoring game, Xander's popping off. But if that game is a slugfest and it's more defense, then this very well can be Trevor's game or week to win.
Yeah.
But
I think I'll give the edge to Trevor, but
yeah.
like you said, I think Xander has a very real possibility of popping off.
You know what? I'm gonna say that Xander's gonna win just to give him that luck. I'm gonna give you the luck. I can see it.
Let's see it.
Let's see it. Let's see it, Xander. And then the last week we have the last matchup, me versus Jake Bernatsky, and the team JBurn98, which you also need to change your team name. Can't be leaving it as your default name. But yeah, Brad, I mean, this is the guy that I just traded Jalen Waddle for, who, Jacob's very excited about having Devontae Adams. He's very excited to have Rashid Shaheed for next year. He thinks that he definitely won the trade. I won't, leak the DMs and what he thought of it, but he definitely thinks that he pulled out from it. But a lot of the public consensus is that I came out of it positive. But looking at it right now, Devontae Adams has more points than Garrett Wilson. I mean, that's not saying much because Devontae has 5 points and Garrett has 2.9. But what's your thoughts, Bradley, if you're still with us?
Yeah, so I'm on my phone now because my computer keeps crashing and it won't turn on. So apologies for the technical difficulties, but I'll say this about the trade. Jay can think it's a good trade. Antonio Brown also thinks he does not have CTE. So you can think whatever you want. I will say, when trading, I think it's a great idea to reference the KTC trade calculator Because even if you think you are fleecing someone, you could still get more out of it. So I think I'm happy that he got some guys that he's excited about, but I think he could have gotten more from you to make it a more even trade. But yeah, only time will tell. We'll see how that go. How Devontae performs down the line. But yeah, as far as this week goes, he's got 5 points so far. Aaron missed him real bad on their first offensive play of the game, so that was
Mhm.
tough. But I think he's got a lot of good potential. Again, I think this Atlanta Dallas game could be a massive shootout. So I think Kirk could easily put up 40 points. And he's got CD too.
Yeah, Kirk is fucking scary, dude. Like that guy either puts like below 15, sub 15 games, or he does like 20 to 40 points. Like I'm looking here, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games below 15 points, but then he has 3 games above 30 and 4 above 20. So it's kind of scary. If I see Kirk Cousins with 16 points and it's the second half or third quarter, I'm gonna shit myself.
Yeah, I mean that's the big concern. But then on your side, you've got Joe Burrow, you've got Jaden Daniels, Tyreek Hill can put up points, tons of points. We've seen it in years past, but he hasn't really strung too many great games together this year so far.
He's
But
the
with Tua coming
no
back and having a
injuries,
weekend,
no injuries. Player rank 44.
yeah, not at all what you want to see. But I think you've got some great QBs, solid running back in Saquon, great receivers. They just got to kind of all put it together. So we'll
Yeah.
see
Yeah, I
how
mean,
that rolls out this week.
I'm a bit of an addict. I always be staring at my team, and I'm happy with the pieces I got, but I look at my team and then I look at a team like Seth or like even Xander or Jacob, where they're getting like 200 points, and I'm like, I haven't hit 200 points yet, and um, I'm a little worrisome that maybe my team will run out of gas at the end of the year, and I won't get a year one win or year two or year three, and I'm not gonna have the picks to back it up, and in 3 years from now, this team could be hurting or this team could be, rocking and rolling. So hopefully it's the latter for
Only
me.
time will tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, all you got to do is make it to playoffs, and then you string a couple good weeks together, and you've got a championship. That's fantasy. That's what it's all about. Anyone can win at the end of the day. So
Mhm.
just got to put yourself in the best position, and I think you've got a solid team moving forward. Um, as far as this week goes, I think I gotta give the edge to Jake this week. I think you might snap your undefeated streak. We'll see, but I
Mhm.
just really like Kirk, Sam Darnold, CD Lamb this week.
Yeah. They got some great matchups, and I've been flirting with a loss, but I haven't quite, you know, have felt it. But
Yep,
yeah,
we'll see. I mean,
well,
it'll be a tight one though.
it'll be a tight one. It's the Halloween weekend, so looking forward to it. Um, just looking forward to seeing some gamers game and uh, football going on, and just looking forward to seeing how all these teams go and in the off season. Once that off season comes around, that's going to be a lot of fun too.
It's arguably one thing I'm most excited for is the off season, all the hype around the NFL draft, and
Yeah.
then when we actually get into our rookie draft, I think a lot of excitement year round with Dynasty as opposed to redraft leagues. So
Mhm.
something to look forward to even after the season ends.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go in a fucking coma every off season. I have no picks, that's why.
Oh, that's true. You got to
Please
wait a
clap.
couple years, wait for him to come back.
Please laugh.
Please laugh.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna end the podcast here. We're at 44 minutes, so if you're sticking it out, listening to this all, appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you guys next week.